It's a spiritual if you turn.
So, we have next Cassie. Where are you? Is she coming? Get here, quickly. Fast. Have you got us?
Liz, yes.
Have you got the stick?
Yes.
You've got the stick.
Oh, thank you.
Another person who has come up, Cathy. Another person who's come out of the general public, if you like, to do her bit and to start something that's already been mentioned once today, and Cassie herself doesn't know this, but Alan Shipham mentioned the National Residents Association. Now, the only person that can tell you really all about it is Cassie. If you want to see where I first met her, really was through Richard Vobes. So these situations between the alternative media, looking at all the alternative media, really does work. Cassie, tell us all about, because you've had some wonderful success. Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you. I've done a few slides for everybody today. And anyway, I hope that we can get them up. And I don't bore you all to death. But anyway, I'll try not to, all right? I promise. So a couple of years ago, I realised very early on that there was a huge problem. And a lot of people were not able to connect with the general public because they've done a very good job of hijacking the minds of the many, I would say. And we've all been branded conspiracy theorists and so on and so forth. But what's happened is that has created an even larger disconnect between families, friends, and these kind of things. So I thought we need something generic to be able to relate to the general public, and that's why I started the National Residents Association. So it's basically aiming to bring back hope back into our communities, and that's what we've been doing. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. Do I need to next slide? Oh, thank you. Yeah, so oh, lovely.
You can actually do it yourself. That's
great.
the next slide. And that's valid.
That's the next slide. Okay, thank you. Great. Yeah, good. Problem solved. So obviously we are born out of the emergencies that we face today, and let me tell you, there's quite a few on the horizon, as we can all identify. So the NRA's importance is designed to build the bridges between local communities and local people. And you need a vehicle in order to get the general public on your side. So I think really the WEF is what's probably brought us all together here today. It's because of the issues that they are creating worldwide has created so many issues that is actually bringing good people together, which is a positive out of a very, very negative situation. So governments are now cooperating with the World Economic Forum to implement net zero. So I wanted to talk about World Economic Forum, then interlinking it with how it works. And I'm sure we've all probably realised that the WEF are advising the governments. The agenda is then being implemented by the government, which then goes down to the local councils to roll out. I remember Mark was just saying about the climate emergency. I think most councils around the country now have declared a climate emergency. I'm still looking for it. Has anybody seen it yet? No? I can see an emergency with radiation emergency, but that one doesn't seem to get discussed very much. So residents' associations, it's been commonplace over the years that people feel that they are connected to something that they understand. I shouldn't say understand because nobody's under another. But anyway, it's a term that local people are familiar with. But also, it is a term that councils understand as well. And what that means is that when you go to the council meeting, you will be able to then say, we are from whatever residents' association, and create that pushback. So local people know this term, and so do councils, and that's one of the biggest, strongest advantages of having a residents' association. So what are they driving towards? I think we all know, smart cities. And unfortunately, I'm going to be very honest with you, I read somewhere from the government's text the smart city rollout is due to be completed by March 2025. So we're very, very close, everyone. So we can see the roads, surveillance has increased. You're being surveilled on cameras in motorways and you know, town centres just at a rapid rate, radiated all at the same time, and it's due to be completed by then. So that's why I wanted to kind of emphasise the importance of that today. So what are they driving for? So we all hear about the term smart cities, smart technology, everything's smart. But what they're really driving for is to turn you into a smart citizen. And their aim is to modify humans, and we know this, right? So this is why we cannot let this happen. So this is why each and every one of us in this room and beyond are very, very important people in order to create that pushback. So we can see here some of the components that they're changing. So things like NHSX, I don't know how many people have heard of that. Digitalisation of the NHS? No? Yeah, yes and no. We've got a bit of a mixed combination going on here. Then you've got your smart buildings, your smart energy, your smart governance. Everything is smart. Smart mobility, HS2 seems to be uppicking again. I was driving up the motorway earlier on today, and I seen that they were picking up the pace with that, which is not great. So that leads us on to carbon footprint. A smart citizen, in their opinion, would be careful of their carbon footprint to then make it carbon neutral. So one minute we hear it's net zero by 2030, next minute it's net zero by 2050. The goalposts seem to change quite invariably. And that brings me on to our very, very hot topic at the moment, which is renewable energy. And, well, I'm all about showing people the problem, because once you can show people the problem, that starts to kickstart the solution to the problem, because seeing is believing. So if you can see something, you can actually believe it. So my question to you is this a viable solution?
No.
Right. There we go. So I think there is a potential, and I'm going to pose this question to the room now. There is the potential that this is the final missing piece of their puzzle. But I also think that it gives us the strongest disposition to reach out to our communities as soon as possible. So that brings me on to solar farms. Like I said before, I like to show people. So the data that you're going to see in a minute has been taken from the government's energy planning website, renewable planning website. So you see the yellow dots on the map? That, everyone, is how much they want to cover our country with solar farms. Yeah. So like I said, I like to show people so people can understand the veracity of what I'm actually trying to explain. The preference for all of these things in the renewable energy sector is, of course, farmland. Agricultural farmland. I would say it's probably a land grab as well. So we've got solar farms being placed on farmland. 66 solar fires, don't say what type of solar fire it is, occurred in 2023. Farmland could obviously change its use from a real estate perspective if nobody puts in a complaint to the council, or you don't complain, or the council don't complain. The change of use, it will change and it will remain as that. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but the UK only grows 60% of its own food, which it was taken from the UK government's health and security food, I can't remember, but anyway, this is a real figure. So we export some as well, and obviously we import. So my question is, what happens if we have less places to grow our food? Quite serious, right? Then we're going to move on to wind turbines. That's right, yeah. So here we go. This is the wind turbine that they are proposing. Some have already gone up. I think there's about 11,000 in operation at present in the UK. You can see the lighter dots there. There are planned or already pre-existing offshore wind turbines. And then there's the on-site as well. So in Scotland, to accommodate for wind turbines is a very distressing thing. I remember driving up to Scotland, seeing all of these trees that had been chopped down. Broke my heart. They've chopped down 16 million trees, everyone, to allow for wind turbines. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, exactly. Green technology, this is, everyone. Green technology, you know, it's going to save the world from our climate crisis. So anyway, so the UK has 11,000 operational wind turbines. So if you think about that figure as it stands at the moment, then you have to think about the fact that it's actually killing 10 up to 100,000 birds. Fatalities are occurring because of the blades of the wind turbine. So each wind turbine blade is about as long as an aeroplane wing. So it's very long. Very, very, very challenging to recycle as well. So wind turbine fires account for 10 to 30% of all catastrophic incidences. There's been incidences, I think there was one in Australia, and basically what happened was the blades all fell off and people were injured. I think somebody might have even died, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So 46% of people complained about the noise. And I'm not sure if you are aware, but there's a thing called the nacelle, which drives the wind turbine. It actually uses, this is the good bit, uses POA synthetic oil, which is based on crude. So how are we trying to justify getting rid of fossil fuels when we're now needing that to propel all of the wind turbines? So then we move on to BESS. Now, I'm not sure how many people do or don't know about BESS, but BESS is Battery Energy Storage Systems. Again, is another lithium-ion driven container. So one container is about the size of a shipping container. And obviously, lithium-ion is in them. Now, this is all the proposed and some pre-existing in the UK. So back in 2020, Liverpool had an explosion, and it took 59 hours to let that fire extinguish because the fire brigade can't even put it out, right? So it has to go out organically without any intervention. The insurance companies now have changed their status from lithium-ion battery status from emerging risks to recognised risks. So that's how dangerous they are. So what the question is why do we need them? That's the question. So with solar, it actually, if you don't generate enough power from your solar panels, what then happens is you need a backup supply. And this is what it is. So these are going across all of our farms, you know, farming land, again, all been taken away. And we're now replacing it all with lithium, wind, and solar. So I'm not sure about anybody else, but I feel, with the question really is how safe is our food supply? So when you think about what Richard was saying earlier, and he said about supporting local people, I absolutely agree. And what we've got is some people in different residents' associations have utilised the letter specifically written for farmers. And we've had good responses from farmers from different parts and different areas and stuff like that. And they've written back, and we're starting to try and arrange meetings with them under different residents' associations in different parts of the country. Because farmers, they just need a solution, but they don't know what the solution is to the problem. But it's a great way also to start galvanising the general public. Because I believe that the World Economic Forum will do everything to pursue their goals, and so must we, the people. Absolutely. So I want to talk about, just touch upon a bit of some NRA successes, and there's been some really, really simple things that have made such a profound difference. It's been quite phenomenal, really. So some recent successes that we've had. Swindon had 3 out of 4 5G masts stopped. Yes, that's right, yeah. So what we did, so simple. I'll show everybody a little video afterwards, but it was such a simple thing that made such a profound impact. So Swindon Borough Council decided that they wanted to put 4 masts up in the same location, pretty much one street away from another. And Swindon Residents Association was like, we're not going to have this, obviously, you know. So what we did is, because we only had 8 days to stop this, so we had little time, is we got this one blue leaflet posted by the NRA, and we put a little slip on there giving the public instructions as to what to do in order to stop this going up. So we went on this huge leafleting campaign. Andy went to the shops, and me and another lady just went and posted all these leaflets around. We stopped. Out of that exercise, it took us probably about 4 hours of our lives just doing that. We stopped 3 out of 4. And the only reason we didn't stop the 4th one was because it was an industrial estate. Similar principle, and this is how it kind of started, was with East Surrey. They had a mast going up, and basically she only had 79 leaflets. Nobody knew about the 5G mast, and what happened was that in total they got 119 objections to that overall. So that shows that word of mouth starts to take over. Essex has held a successful public meeting, and a couple of other locations are doing that right now, working and engaging with the general public. There's so many topics, like as I mentioned right at the beginning, to reach out to the general public with, and they're starting to work, talking to the people, educating them, making them feel that there's something they are a part of. Lincoln saw a mayor leave after a week of being in post, so I thought that was a brilliant one. So, Swindon made the news. They went to the council meeting and they pushed back. So obviously Mark, who was speaking before me, talking about the importance of going to council meetings. When you go as a residents' association, oh my God, the fear of God must take over these people, and rightfully so. We've all had enough. So Swindon, they asked them, the council, in 3 different ways if they were going to be putting ULEZ up into the local area. They said no. This not only made the Swindon Advertiser, but it actually made the BBC the next day as well. So that just goes to show the power of who we are and what we can do together. So this is the mast. This is the exercise to stop the 3 out of the 4. I'll see if I can play the video. So we just did this.
It's the 19th of June. Swindon Wiltshire Residents Association are on Ermine Street to deliver these leaflets because they want to put 4 5G masts up in this area. We're going to just deliver these leaflets to the residents and hope that they object, because we've only got till the 25th of June. So we'll keep you informed on that, guys. Cheers.
And that stopped us 3 out of the 4 masts going up. So some things that we can offer, if people did want to do or join us, we've got this going on all over the country. So you've only heard a little snippet today of what's really going on. But we can personalise leaflets, lanyards, logos. We've got loads of templates, petitions, scripts and training how to talk to people, notices of liability for 5G in smart cities. We've got the farmer's letter. Now, in addition, I've been working very, very closely behind the scenes to create a solar, wind and BES educational video. Now, that video is due to be released probably tomorrow, I would say. Now, that video has been designed to educate the general public. So let's just say, for an example, because I've got left some of my green leaflets at the back there, the new solar ones. Let's just say that a member of the public got that leaflet. They can then go and hopefully go onto the website and watch the video to learn more about it. So it's just kind of giving a rounded view. So I believe by learning together, we can grow together. Like Richard was saying earlier, utilising social media, absolutely key. Seen some huge successes on that. with Next Door Neighbour, Facebook. We've got so many different groups starting up now because their members in their local communities are growing because of their social media engagement and then having meetings with them and stuff like that. So it's pretty good, really. So I think really winning could be easy. But with you and others, we can build an unbreakable network if we all put our minds and hearts and souls into it. Because I think community awareness is key, and that's what we need to topple this whole thing over. So if anybody does want to join us or get in contact, please feel free to do so, because I think that now's the time that we need to try and save our soil, and we need to do that together. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Liz. Can you do that to Mark?